It's your boy Mike. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video. We are back with another weekly look at the submitted game feedback. And as per usual, we have a new guest. We have Zamasu, who is super goated. You guys should all check out their Twitter and YouTube channel. I actually don't... Have you uploaded any of your gameplay on your channel just yet?
Not quite yet, but it is coming. I do have the recordings and I'm going to set them up soon.
That's fair, that's fair. But either way, I would definitely check it out, because not only do us like laying together a lot, but you're also just a very goated individual too, as Zamasu. I'd probably say the number one Zamasu player.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. But let's go ahead and start looking into to some of this feedback. Number one, the Dragon Gems being platform locked is having a significant impact on the quality and enjoyment of the game. Now, people say this, but like, the thing is, again, I don't think this is a Gekishin Squadra thing, you know, like other games like Dokkan and Legends and anything Bandai related are all having it where whatever platform you play on is what it's locked to, you know? And I don't think that's necessarily something that Gekishin Squadra themselves can fix, unfortunately, because it's just kind of like it's the standard. There's only like a handful of games that I could think of off the top of my head that have it, or like whatever premium currency is on one like game or like one console will transfer over to the next. So unfortunately, like, I just don't think it's gonna be an issue that'll ever be fixed, because that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah, it's a technical limitation, and it's like, I don't know. From my perspective, I don't know if that's like a humongous issue. Maybe I'm like tunnel visioning here, but like for me, usually, if I'm buying gems on a platform, I just use them straight up on that platform. Like I buy them when I need them. So okay, let's say I want the tank top trunk skin or I want the Piccolo skin. I'll go onto another platform and I'll get the $10 pack. And then I'll use my 700 gems to get those skins, and then I won't think of touching that platform again until I have to buy another sale, for example. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's only a big issue if you're playing matches on multiple platforms actively and doing missions, which like I don't necessarily believe is the case for most players.
Even on top of that, even if you were someone who was like buying gems consistently and you're buying gems on multiple platforms, I would outright say that it's a benefit that it's not locked to one like system, because you can buy sales on multiple like devices, right? Like your sales on your phone are not the same sales that are on PlayStation, that are not the same sales on the Switch, that are not the same sales on the computer. Like if you really wanted to, you could just download the same game and log into the same account and get the same exact sales on all of them, and then just be like getting the best rates for gems, you know? So again, like I can understand the frustration of not having it all in just one, but overall I think it's fine, you know? Like I don't think it's the biggest deal. Starting from S tier, solo queue, or duo queue at most, ranks at the end of matches should display with each player's overall position number. The MMR you receive should depend on the MMR difference between players. Right now, you gain 25 MMR for beating a player who is 20,000 MMR ahead of you. It's only fair that the top player has to work harder to maintain a position and shouldn't have to lose too many matches. I've seen a lot of people say that like solo and duo queues need to be the standard, and having it where like teams just aren't a thing, and honestly don't really like that. I've held this opinion for a long time, but if you don't like having it where there's team queues and you want to just be able to have an entirely separate queue only for people who are solo or duo queuing, that's completely fine. But don't take away a game mechanic just because you've, you know, had to fight full lobbies or full stacks before, because like I don't, I like teaming up with my friends, you know? Like I'm not a person who will hop in by myself too often anymore. I always try to find people to play with, and to kind of like take the amount of people I'm able to play with out of there is I feel like an unfun thing to do. at least in my opinion, like this could all just be fixed if they just had a separate solo queue and duo queue rather than just
100%.
completely removing stacks. As for the MMR thing, I feel like I don't know, because they already kind of have a system in place for that. Like if you're fighting someone who's like A tier and B tier, the people who are S tier and or S rank, I mean, are always going to lose and gain like they'll lose the most amount of MMR and they'll gain the least amount. And that's the reason why people who are like S rank and then they have to fight people who are B rank are always sad, because you're like playing 5-minute matches, 10-minute matches, and then at the end you're getting like 10 MMR, 12 MMR, and you're like, damn. And then you lose the next game, and then you lose like 25, and you're like, damn. So I can understand not wanting to lose as much if you're going up against the top players. I guess they can maybe make it where it's a little bit more adjusted. That way it's not just S rank in general, and it's depending on MMR, but I don't know. I guess I'm curious to see how that one would be, What do you think though?
Okay, just starting from that point and just working my way up. I personally do have a problem with this. I generally agree. Fun fact, there used to be a system like that in place, because I remember vividly Aizen, back in the previous betas, Aizen and that stack, with like Tax and them, they always had significantly more points than any player in the queue. And I remember Aizen was complaining to me, like, every time I would queue for like an hour, and then I would play all that to get 10 points. And it's like, they made it a lot less extreme, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't remember the precise number Aizen gave me, but I know it was like very like, wow, you spent all the time playing one match only to get that much, and then you have the risk of losing so much. But my real problem with it is honestly that there's no reward for the lower ranked player. Like if they queue into these like higher ranked people, they lose, they're still losing like 25 points. They're not getting cushion for it. And if they win, they're also not getting that many more points. Like, if you're going to put the higher ranked player in a situation where they're playing with like skill levels aside, because I think the game is very, very macro based, especially if you're playing with solo queue, sometimes you're just gonna like have like a one-off loss to an A rank or a B rank as an S rank player. It's just how that works.
Right.
Maybe they're even smurfing, right? Or maybe they're off roll, right? They're a good player who's off roll. If you're playing for high risk, low reward, the least you could do is make it so that it rewards the other side. Because as it is now, it's just a negative for the high rank player, and there's no positive involved for anybody. So it's just really, really, really like, it's not even lopsided. It's just straight up like bad how they've implemented this. And like, I've been on both sides, because obviously I'm really high elo on tank, but I'm very, very low in S rank on DPS, and I'm not even S rank on tech. So I've played through both sides of the spectrum, and I can tell you, like, there are times that I'm playing technical, I'm just taking my friends who are like C rank, B rank compared to my A rank. Mm-hmm. I'm just taking them in the lobbies. Suddenly I queue into a crazy S rank stack, and it's like, okay, I'm still losing 25 points to this. Everybody involved is like losing 20 to 25 points for this. And then the enemy players are gaining like 10. Like, this is not good for anybody involved, especially if the matchmaking is going to continue to let you to party with people with such a humongous MMR gap, and or just randomly match you into people that are under your rank.
Right. I think, yeah, it's like it's a system overall that needs to be fixed. Friends shouldn't be able to really queue up with people who are like such a lower MMR than them. Having it where you're not even able to queue up with people who are on the same team, just in solo queue in the same thing, like I shouldn't be S rank queuing up with like B ranks, and
yeah,
just situations like that, it's a whole system that kind of needs like a slight overhaul, I would say.
Yeah. As for like the solo duo queue point, I entirely agree with you. I think it's very, very no offense, no shade, but I think it's very, very foolish to try and remove the team system from a team game. And if you're saying we need to remove the team system from a team game, you're fundamentally attacking the wrong issue. It should be that the matchmaking is balanced, like you said, to where if you're a solo or duo, you get put in solo/duo queues. Versus if you're running trio or a 4-stack, you get put in trio/4-stack queues. I know it's very, very irritating to just solo queue match up against a 4-stack. That happened to me yesterday. I was solo queuing Namek Goku, Super Saiyan Goku on DPS, and I queued into Aizen's 4-stack, and like I just had to throw my hands up and say, well, okay, that's a loss. Even if if I care about my DPS points that much, that would infuriate me, right? And it's like, but removing the teams feature is not the answer, because like it not only, okay, it's a MOBA, it's a team-based game, your success is highly dependent on how your teammates perform, but also it's a low communication MOBA. There's no text chat, there's no built-in voice chat. So the game is implicitly telling you, okay, go to the Discord and find people. I mean, this is an official Discord where there's like 30,000 people constantly searching for teams. The game is implicitly telling you, go to an external platform, go to Discord, team up with people. Go communicate externally and run through your matches, run through your queue like that. The game and the systems are built around this like method of communication and stacking up as much as possible. So I think it's going to throw a lot of the game out of whack if you are just like permanently forced to suffer your top lane or your bottom lane and just rolling the dice on whether or not you get a good solo or duo up there. Like the whole point of a team is to be able to depend on people, to be able to eliminate randomness, to be able to identify, you know, what's going wrong here. Where are my points of failure? It would be so difficult to improve besides on like a, you know, like a mechanical level. If you're unable to execute macros, you're unable to build team synergy, you're unable to rotate really effectively, you're unable to communicate. There's so many skills you're missing out on by just eliminating 4-stacks entirely. Right. And it's not even like I understand it's infuriating, but also like there are talented players like Charlie Mac who will solo queue into like big beefy 4-stacks with 1 billion MMR and win. So it's like you're fighting an uphill battle. I'm not saying you're not fighting an uphill battle, but it is possible. And removing 4-stacks from the game that's literally named after 4-stacks is just like you're fundamentally getting at the wrong issue here.
It's a valid criticism with the wrong solution, basically.
Yeah, entirely. Like, I agree with the base level sentiment that probably birthed this. It's like, I don't want to queue into 4-stacks as a solo queue either. Like, if I want to try and just focus on my own mechanics, play really selfishly, okay, I'll solo queue. But I'm not trying to throw my game in jeopardy by just like queuing into like, I don't know, Zoro stack or Abe stack whenever I'm solo queue. Because both of these things have happened to me.
Right. But yeah, I like I said, I think it's just because the whole oh my god, holy shit.
Yeah, it's infuriating. I don't blame him for like jumping to that conclusion.
Well, no, I was gonna say because the next feedback is a lot to read.
Ooh.
It's but yeah, well, we'll just go into the next one because man, this is it's probably gonna take like 10 minutes to read all of this. I've been playing this game since beta June 2025, and honestly, it's time for Toshi to give up on the idea of a balanced game. Super Saiyan 3 Goku literally just okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cut myself off right there. The amount of people that will go ahead and tell you that this is not a balanced game is insane. You look at anyone who is like higher level in this game, and they will all tell you that any character is runnable. Is there inherently better characters than others? Of course, if you're running Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan Goku versus, something like Bojack and Deborah, no shit, you're gonna have an inherent advantage, right? But at the same time, you could still win. Like that is like the thing that cannot happen with just some other games, you know? Like there are just other like MOBAs and other games like Gekishin Squadra where you just lose if you pick like certain matchups of characters, and that doesn't necessarily always happen with Squadra, right? Like you'll fight an uphill battle, but it doesn't mean you lose. You know, like if you're playing something like Daima Goku instead of Super Saiyan 3 and the other team is using Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan 3, you're not like, well, I lost, guys. You know, I should have just picked the pay to win option. That's my fault. You know, like it's still a level playing field. So for people to say that this isn't a balanced game when every single one of the top people are like, yeah, no, this is pretty balanced compared to like other games. Is Super Saiyan 2 Goku an issue? Yeah, but that's the only issue, you know?
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid. But let me just keep reading. Super Saiyan 3 Goku literally just stands back, spams Kamehameha, and deals ridiculous damage. And when you finally get close to him, he just teleports away. What kind of nonsense is that? The season is way too long. It's getting boring doing the same thing over and over. You say we listen to the community. Sure you do. People have been begging nonstop to remove Cell Jr., nerf Goku, nerf Cooler pre-transformation, and you haven't done a single thing about it. I'm sorry if I sound rude, but this is getting out of hand, and you can't even enjoy the game anymore. There are too many issues, and instead of fixing them, you're just feeding your pay-to-win players so they're satisfied and spend more money on upcoming characters. That's low-key disgusting behavior. You call it free-to-play friendly? Yeah, right. All these players who said who paid to get Goku are the ones winning every match, and free-to-play players literally can't even compete. You don't get enough. You don't even give us enough gems. 50 gems per season for free-to-play players unless we spend money. That's mind-blowing. That's about 5 full seasons just to get one character. Is that not stupid to you? That's not even including season pass, by the way. We come home wanting to relax and play our favorite game, but end up getting cooked and losing ranks because of all these Gokus, Coolers, and Cell Juniors. You're literally repeating what you did with Legends, saying we care but ignoring the community. The game has so much potential to be one of the best Dragon Ball mobile games, but your negligence and lack of communication are killing it. It honestly feels like a cash grab rather than a passion project. The least you could have done was put newer units at the end of the battle pass for the free-to-play players, or give us trial runs of the new characters. But no, we have to wait 2 whole months just to try one unit we might never even get because everyone else is too high in star level. Have some shame and fix a damn game, or at least communicate with your community. Address the issues people keep bringing up. I still have hope you won't repeat Legends mistakes and make everything pay to win. Right now, unless you have a newer character, you can't even compete. This is just fucking lies. The buffs for Gammas and Zamasu were trash. Why did you even reduce Gamma 2's HP? Before we can finish a combo, he's already dead. Please fix your game. It has potential. I guess we'll start from the top because this is a lot to go through. So yes, Super Saiyan 3 Goku needs a nerf. I won't argue that. I'll put my hands up in the air and I'll be like, you're right. You know, the instant transmission like Kamehameha combo is absurd, and it definitely does need either a rework or a nerf. You know, the fact that like there's so many people who always like say that part of they don't listen to the community when they try to come out with as much patches as possible. They've literally told us that they were only going to like give buffs and nerfs once per season, and they're like, because of the community feedback, we've been trying to have it where like every single time, like every 2 weeks or so, they give us some sort of nerf or balance adjustment. And
yeah, literally,
it's like they're trying, you know, it's gonna take time, and this is literally like their first MOBA game, and I would say they're doing pretty fucking good with it in terms of balancing, but there's still some things that maybe need to be tweaked here and there. And it's clear that they just made a mistake with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and they're just waiting most likely until next season to patch it. Because like, look at Topo, look at Gotenks. Gotenks isn't the best support. It's still Gohan. He's pretty good, but all supports are good. Topo fucking sucks. Like, I will be there first and foremost to say that that Topo is like the biggest, like, I don't know. I hate Topo so much. He gets countered by so many things, and so many of the top characters just have something to stop Topo and from what he's doing with his counter and all that. So he's so fucking bad, you know. The removing Gold Cell Juniors though, it has been a very vocal thing. I would hope that they're gonna address it in season 2. I don't know about you. You can tell me as a Zamasu player, of course, and I also give you a lot of room to talk because I know I've been yapping for a hot minute, but I'm like leaning towards Cooler not needing a nerf as much as Khalifa, because that's the provoke and all that is just so much better than what Cooler does, in my opinion. But like I said, what do you think?
Okay, yeah, honestly, just playing more and more at the highest level, because after season 0, there have been a lot better players that have cropped up. Because back during season 0, I would just queue NA with Aizen and them, and I would just get like, I want to say freeload queues. Like there are some difficult matches for sure, but like I always was against the same cast of players. Now there's genuinely like 20 to 30 new like top level players just in NA alone that I've encountered just from the game going from season 1 to season 0. Let alone Abe and that team, like with Pride. I never saw these players in NA queue whenever I was like queuing then. I even queued some games in EU and I never saw them. But they're like, you know, they just came out of the woodwork. But my point is, like, I've played a lot near the top level of this game, and just going in the tank head to head, Khalifa is absolutely more oppressive than Cooler. Like Cooler can hang. Cooler is like the only one going band for band with Caulifla in terms of tanks. And his iframes can be more useful than stuff Caulifla has in certain situations. But it's just like Provoke genuinely just warps the entire interaction around her, and it's impossible to get it off. Like when she has level 3 skill, it's genuinely 100% uptime if she just keeps within a remote range of you. Like an ability that easy to apply should not have 100% uptime and permanently cripple characters. Especially given that a lot of these characters' escape tools and a lot of what their kit is bounced around are skill-based movements. Like you're stopping Namek Goku or Trunks from warping or meteor fisting away. Like this is like not just, oh, I have to take Peel for my DPS who's fragile. Obviously they clearly designed Caulifla to work with Kale first and foremost, you know, this like the synergistic canon duo. It's not just I'm taking Peel for my my weaker, squishier DPS. It's okay, if you try to challenge me in any way, you're dead. You can't target my DPS. You can't escape. You can't leave. Your tank has to burn Rildo and pull like a mega peel. Especially if they're Caulifla themselves, they have to taunt me back. Just for you to have the remote chance of escaping this interaction unless I totally fumble or you're outscaling the hell out of me. Like with Cooler, you simply have to play around his iframes and his ult. Very difficult, obviously, because he's good. His iframes are so abundant, but it's just like Caulifla is twisting every single interaction around her, whether it's early game, whether it's mid game, whether it's late game. Provoke is just such an overtuned mechanic. It's screwed. Yeah. And the idea that we need to nerf Cooler, I don't know. I think we need to nerf Provoke, and then we need like slightly. Obviously, don't gut the mechanic, but we need a slight to moderate nerf on Provoke. Maybe a very slight nerf to Cooler, and then we need to buff the other tanks to be on Cooler's level. Yeah. Because I never feel like, oh my god, like I've improved since season 0. And just going in the tank head-to-head with Zamasu versus Cooler, even though Zamasu's like a bottom 3 tank, I never feel against Cooler like, oh my god, dude, she's so fucking oppressive. I can't win against Cooler. Like, fucking crutch character. Like, no. I don't. Even though I'm playing a weaker tank, I simply like am able to maneuver around this. So I think it's more prudent for us to make every tank have that level of influence. Because right now, half of the tanks have like little to no playmaking potential. Bell does have playmaking potential when he goes perfect, but whenever he's imperfect, he's literally like he needs to be coddled by the DPS, which is just backwards. I think every tank needs the playmaking potential of Cooler, personally. Because Cooler can make plays. Cooler can group with the ult. Cooler can stop movement. Cooler can iframe through big skills to clutch out. Like, Cooler has some of the most skill expression in this game, and I think more characters need to be able to exert that much influence over a match, at least in terms of tanks. Because tanks are the roles that should be calling the shots, clearing out the field, peeling for their DPS, And overall, like, they should be exerting the most influence in a team fight. Every tank needs to be as good in a team fight as Cooler. It's not the other way around.
Right.
Because, and I'm not gonna lie, nobody likes tank. Go look at the tank leaderboards, compare it to the DPS leaderboards. Even though DPS is like, obviously there's 2 DPS and 1 tank, but like compared to the DPS leaderboards, compare how easy it is to get the top 100 tank versus DPS. Nobody likes playing tank. Tank is fucking boring. Tank is a slog. If you're not playing cauliflower or Cooler, you're exerting no control over a match. If you're not playing perfect, if you can't scale up to perfect really consistently, then Cell is a completely worthless unit. Like, this is not the state a role should be in. Tank is by far the worst balanced role, so making the big Titan tank, besides cauliflower, less powerful is not the way to do this. If you look at technical, all the technicals are good in their own way. There are some that are like kind of crap, like Krillin and 17, but they're all good. They can all get value in their own way. If you're taking away Cooler's playmaking potential and his ways to get value, then Tank is simply a dead role. You don't want a role to be balanced by all the characters being dog shit. And also the point about them not listening to balance, or like their team and their community about balance, just because they make mistakes doesn't mean they don't listen. Like you were saying, like, this just rings the alarm bell in my head. You never played Project Multi, because oh my god, imagine this game with the Great Ape. Imagine if they just were headstrong, planted their feet down, and said, no, we are putting the Great Ape in the game, no matter whether you like it or not. Dude, this game would be completely horrible. Imagine playing 7 minutes of Cell Juniors only to queue into the fucking ape, and then, like, it's, no, they...
Yeah, I've talked with a lot of people who played Project Multi as well, and the universal, like, opinion was Gold Cell Juniors is bad, but you have matches where you can at least come back from, and there are, like, certain scenarios where it's even evenly matched when it's Gold Cell Junior, right? That never happens with the fucking Great Ape, dude. You win Great Ape, you win the game. Like, as soon as you just win, this is over.
The first 7 minutes of the match don't matter, and you have to make one micro play. That just doesn't make sense. A game that's so macro heavy like this, coming down to, like, honestly, equal skill, like, it would just be RNG to get the ape.
Yeah.
Like, just realistically speaking, obviously you can outplay the opponent in the team fight, you know, like maybe take out their DPS, but like snipe to snipe, you know, you're not gonna win against other teams 10 out of 10 times. You might just get unlucky. They might kill you. They might kill Namek, Goku, or Piccolo, so you can't snipe. You know, it's just nothing is guaranteed in a PvP game. So putting the Great Ape up to such a measure of like, okay, this singular action is what decides the whole ass game. I don't think anybody who says that the the Gekishin devs don't listen to their team, I don't think they ever had to experience the horrors of the Great Ape. Right. I genuinely don't think they ever, like, played that. Because if they did, they would not be saying this. Teams making balancing mistakes is not the same as teams not listening to their fan base. Like you said, they were literally only going to have one balance change a season. Now we got like 2 or 3, and that's literally from fan outcry, and that's something they came up with on the spot. The fans cried out, and within a month they came up with new balance changes to just implement, and that's the trend now. Probably, right?
I would even argue that a lot of the balance changes have been more hits than misses as well. Sure, you have things like gammas, where I feel like maybe they were overtuned just a little slightly, you know, because gammas are so good early game and then they fall off a cliff once it comes to late game, right? But like for almost everyone else, Super Saiyan Goku got nerfed, and he now feels a lot more aligned with the top characters in the game, and it's not just like Super Saiyan Goku gap and then like everyone else. I wouldn't also be surprised if Super Saiyan 3 Goku again just gets nerfed next season. But Majin Buu gets a buff, and that was one of the best buffs we've ever seen. His heal range is actually decent now. His skill 1 is really, really good now. Even his dash is still pretty decent, you know? Like, he got the exact buffs that he needed. Zamasu, even with the small buff that he got, again, you were talking about how the buff still felt pretty significant, even though it was just one slight thing, because it just helped him out with survivability wise, and was able to extend his revive a lot more than how it was before. Who else got like buffs and nerfs that I'm trying to think of right now?
Was it just those guys? I think it was just those guys.
Was it just so? But yeah, either way,
so.
I would say 3 for 4 is better than anything. And I don't even know if you want to count gammas as a miss, because at the end of the day, they're better than they were before, and they're a lot more usable than they are before, because they went from like the second worst DPS to probably like the 4th or 5th worst, depending on where you want to rank them. But again, they feel a lot more aligned with like the middle ground of the DPSs, rather than if you picked gammas before, now it was just like, oh, you're kind of throwing. Versus now, during the early game, you use skill 1 twice and you're able to secure almost anything and chase down almost everyone.
They're terrifying. They're terrifying early game. You can't kill them.
They are.
Like they nerfed Gamma 2's H. Like, okay, I know if you're not like you're not supremely good at gammas, it feels bad to have Gamma 2, the melee character, have such a low HP. But like, dude, they need that. Gamma 1 is so unbelievably tanky. Dude, just fight, build up gammas, build up solid gammas, and tell me that Gamma 2 doesn't need to like die in one shot.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. And
imagine that was
I agree.
Superstar or skill boost 1. Ugh.
Yeah. Like, I agree. They've been very, very slow to balance some of these things. Like, Cell Juniors, I will be the first person to argue that they should have pulled an Overwatch 2 and hot fixed that shit out 7 weeks ago. You can have receipts of me saying this weeks ago in Discord chats. I am the first proponent of saying Cell Juniors need to go. As somebody who's lost with great anguish to them and has won with great triumph with them. Like, Cell Juniors need to be hotfixed out. Super Saiyan 3 Goku needs a nerf. I think his kit is not only like unbalanced, but just lopsided in general. But them being slow to balance certain things does not just mean like automatically that they don't listen to their team. I think that means they have something in the pipeline and they are either letting it cook a bit more, or they're like pushing it with something else. For example, if they were to hot remove Cell Juniors right now, sure, that would be good for the game. Everybody wants that. But what if they're saving the removal of Cell Juniors for Season 2, just an example, for them to add an entire new list of Divine Draws? Then it would make sense to save the removal of Cell Juniors for then, because then you don't have to play against Cell Juniors for another 3 months, and they can work during that time to balance them if they're ever brought back into the rotation.
Right.
And I personally think, like, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is very, 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 very broken in a macro sense. Obviously, like the unilateral movement, the omnidirectional unilateral movement skill, like automatic rotate, bullshit. Needs to be on an ultimate. But again, whenever he dropped, he wasn't even the top 1 DPS. Namek Goku was right there, and they addressed the problem, which was Namek Goku.
Yeah.
And they addressed Gammas. And they addressed Majin Buu. Majin Buu went from the laughable worst tech in the game to top 1 tech contender. Oh yeah, we missed Frieza. Frieza got buff. Frieza's buff was also a smashing success.
Yeah, a little too much. The Frieza scares me now. But yeah, I just think like it's so like disheartening, I guess, for lack of a better term, to see a lot of people not realize just how much they do try and communicate. Again, it's the reason why they do these surveys. It's the reason why they are always saying in literally every single one of their videos, you know, please communicate with us on how you guys feel about this feedback. It's the reason why there's this feedback section in general. Go to literally like any other game server and try to find one. 9 times out of 10, you probably won't be able to find a submitted, you know, feedback section, let alone one that actually gets looked at as much as this one does, because a lot of the stuff that is talked about in here is definitely what they use to like buff a lot of these characters. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the submitted game feedback beforehand was talking about how Boo was just actually just awful and was the worst support, and then now he's one of the better ones. So also it's very hard for me to be like, oh yeah, they should just give more gems. This is a game that's trying to make money at the end of the day. Can they be a little bit more lenient? Of course, but it's just how it is, you know. It would be nice if they would do like an event, like maybe once a month, that was giving us gems instead of the Zenny and all that, but that's up to them, of course. It's not up to us.
Yeah, like I do think it probably stings as a free-to-play character that Super Saiyan 3, or a free-to-play player that Super Saiyan 3 Goku is so fucking good, and you just don't get him for so long. Like I think it's kind of like I think it's excessive how much you need to wait to get him without paying, for sure. I think they could go with like giving us at least one like free voucher for a character, or just like giving us enough gems to either purchase the pass or the character in one season and then calling it a day. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to keep making characters 250 gems, that's 750 gems a season. You're still not getting a bulk of the characters in the season if you're only getting 250 gems, especially if you choose to buy the pass over the character.
Right.
So I think we could do with something like that. Like I do agree the monetization of this game is pretty scummy. Like even as a player who plays gacha games, like I think the dollar to gem ratio is absolutely abhorrent. I think it's abhorrent how you can't directly buy certain cosmetics like the intros and how they're already being rotated out, stuff like that. I do agree that the monetization kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, like you said, the game is trying to make money, and also a system like this simply cannot be implemented so quickly. Like, the thing about the other changes is, like, for example, the removal of the grade 8 between Project Multi and the network test for Squadra. That is something they had a year to work on and a year to design the systems of the game around. The game is out now. They can't just say, okay, we're going to take this to the drawing board while we take our hiatus for 3 months and then bring you the next edition of the game. The game is set in stone now. None of the other versions of the game had a complete monetization system like this one. They had a monetization system that they like showed to us by giving us the infinite gems whenever the beta test was about to end. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, they fleshed out the monetization system, and now that they're receiving feedback for it, they physically cannot like change these sort of things before at least the next season. So you just gotta give them time. You have to give them time and realize that they're listening to you more than they think, even if it feels bad. Trust me, Cell Juniors feels bad. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is fucking annoying. I agree with all these things as someone who's played the game too much. The concerns are the same. There's concerns are the same on this level and on my level. And, you know, I agree with certain things like, oh, Zamasu needs a little more. Maybe the gamers could use a slight touch-up, but it's just like, I think it's extremely disingenuous and just coming from a place of pain and bitterness to say outright that the devs aren't listening and that they want to kill you. And that this is as bad as like 2020. Like, this is as bad as 2020 Legends. Like, no, man. No.
Or current Legends.
We don't have FSK. We don't have LFVB. We don't have 21K Zenkais. Like, relax, please. Just give it time. The game has just came out.
Guys, watch out. Toshi's on Gekishin Squadra now. Now we're going to have paid supporters. This supporter is going to give you 100% attack increase. Fuck.
Like, okay, if Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan comes out, and then they also drop like a supporter, like a helper banner with Ghost Goku on it that gives you like 30% attack up in this AoE, you can call the game shit. If Super Saiyan 2 Goku's top 1, or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is top 1, and then they do that with like a Ghost Goku, pack it up, obviously. But that's clearly not the direction they're trying to take the game, especially given that like 2 out of 3 of the new characters aren't even that good.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost is good, but you know what I mean. Like he's not like over centralizing.
Right. This is Toshi though. Of course they're gonna make a Gohan good. But that because I'm a Gohan fan, I'll let it slide on my end.
This is true.
Remove EXL Junior from the game. Yep. This is mega truth nuke.
Totally agree.
I hope that one day they decide to nerf the Kamehameha and make the instant transmission work anywhere on the map. The instant transmission already does work anywhere on the map. The damage is absurd.
Get level 2 or there.
Right. The damage is absurd, and it's so unfair to fight against Super Saiyan 3 Goku. If you're unlucky enough to defeat him, he just runs away using instant transmission, which is completely ridiculous. That's yeah. I mean that's kind of like his whole gimmick. I've already said it in the past. The thing that I believe would be the best way to adjust the character is, of course, making it where the Kamehameha is nerfed in any way. His second skill, like the dive bomb, basically, they need to increase the damage on that, because even maxed out with like your enemy at the smallest amount of HP, with you at the smallest amount of HP, as much buffs passive wise as you possibly can, that thing is still not killing no matter what. It is more of an escape tool than anything, so I feel like they could just increase the damage on that to kind of make it balance a little bit. And instant transmission should just have it where if you're not using Kamehameha, the cooldown of it is reduced. If not, you have to suffer the full cooldown. I feel like that's probably the best way to handle it, because TPing to enemies is like the number one thing you do as Goku anyways. So the cooldown shouldn't be reduced if you're doing it like that, you know? So
yeah.
But they'll nerf him. I pinky swearsies. You can hold me to that. You can take this clip out of context. They will nerf him in season 2.
I'm honestly surprised that not more people talk about Dragon Fist. I honestly think Dragon Fist, besides making the nerfing the Kamehameha, like it shouldn't be fully charged whenever you instant transmission, I think Dragon Fist needs a nerf. Like, if you have a character with such lame automatic positioning that just takes all the micro skill out of the game, even some of the macro, again, just instantly teleporting and like taking out the effort of repositioning or like the timing of it. It's like, if you're caught out of position with a character like this somehow, you need to die, not get hit, like not be able to use like a frame zero get off me tool that does all of the damage before you can even see the visual and just instantly kills anybody who's even next to you or even behind you. That's the real issue. And it's on such a low cooldown too. Like that, it either needs to be severely nerfed in terms of damage, or like a hitbox or something, and it needs either that or it needs to be on KO cooldown.
I feel like I'd rather have it where it just takes like a longer startup time than the damage, but that's just me personally.
The damage like coming out before the visual is completely unfair. Like that's probably not even intended, honestly.
Let's see the next one. It's time for mobile users, Android and iOS, to give up on the game. I don't play Android or iOS, so I feel like I'm probably just gonna skip this one.
I do think I did skim it, and I do think they need to give attention to mobile players. Like I agree with the sentiment they're expressing. Don't push mobile to the wayside for people who want to just boot up their phone, have fun on this game. Don't push that to the wayside for people who are like mega comp and on PC and sometimes PlayStation. Like you need to have a good experience for everybody involved.
Well, this game always started as like a phone game, you know, and then it slowly became something that went to just every device as well. So I do think that they are still probably going to have Android and iOS as something that is a priority, you know, but I more so can't comment on it because like I don't know what the issues would be because I don't play on my phone, you know. So that's just me. Please stop queuing me with people I report. Yes, Truth Nuke. We need to have a void as teammate button, because
100%
people who stay in their base need to all collectively be grouped up and like launched on a remote island with no.
They can go group up in their spawn there.
Yeah, they need to be. If you stay inside of your base and you don't try because your team is not forfeiting, you need to be only placed with teammates who are the exact same as you.
Yeah.
You need to be in losers queue.
You need an avoid system and you need a stay with teammate system in order to avoid getting these guys in your next match.
Yeah, both things need to happen. You need to avoid as teammate, and you need to be able to add people who are on your team if you're solo queuing, because that would be a lot. That'd be pretty awesome. Oh no.
Honestly, just more player interactivity in general. Like on the match screen, I shouldn't just have to be able to report system. I should be able to view their profile as well, view their battle info. Because during Project Multi, you could actually click on someone on the leaderboard, or you just click on someone on the leaderboard. You can view their profile, and you could add them in there. And it's like, Why did they remove that, right? And why can I not like stay with a good random teammate? It just doesn't make sense.
We have another paragraph we're gonna have to read, so I'll try to get through this as fast as possible. Since most of the community, me as well, arguing about EXL juniors, decided to make this petition to show you how many people up to do something with this game mode. Argument 1, EXL juniors are giving away too much XP. Try to get them more balanced by nerfing the amount of EXP from 1. This is true. I feel like if they made it where it was like the same amount as like a Kai, I don't think anybody would be, or not as much people would be as upset about them. And I'm also surprised it wasn't just the same amount as a Kai to begin with. It shouldn't do multiple levels. It's not fun to play with. I bet that this has happened to most of the players. I imagine if you're trying to kill an EXL junior, you almost done it, and then someone coming from the bushes and stealing it, your opponents become over leveled by the tactic, and all you have to do is left is surrender. That's if you can even do that as well. There's so many EXL junior games where you're like,
EXL junior games, like they end in 4 minutes. You can't even surrender by that point.
Yeah. It's a win or lose on early game. If on late game, EXL juniors are not affected much. On early game, it's a crucial point. Your team claimed it. You won in most scenarios. If your opponents have claimed it, you lost in most scenarios. Now to counter arguments. You can finish it with a super attack. Like, yeah, you can, but in most of the scenarios, it's just not worth it. Because EXL juniors spawning around the same time as bosses, which is very important. Because it's easier to finish boss with a super attack when there's 3 to 4 enemy heroes. Just check bushes before killing it. Yes, you can check them, which is safer, but to do this, you need a certain amount of time. And time in this game can be really important in some moments. You can use a skill to make it faster, but killing time will be longer, which is also bad, and maybe even worse in some situations. You can kill opponents first and then kill EXL juniors. Yes, you can, but opponent can have some deadly character combo like Cooler, plus Super Saiyan 1 or 3 Goku, and you could probably die. You fall back to a sort of HP bar, which is taking some time. Usually it's enough to kill EXL junior. If you are not careless, press that thumbs up emote to show the developers how many people up to do something with EXL juniors. I'll give it regardless because I don't like Cell juniors, but yeah.
I'm honestly surprised how nobody again has mentioned about EXL juniors, how random they are. Because I think if they could be played around, there would be flaws with them still. I shouldn't be getting a whole level at like level 11, level 12, level 13, because those levels, obviously the XP gain or the XP cap is exponential. It usually takes me a lot of time to scale up whenever I get to like level 12. I shouldn't be getting a full level at every single level from a Cell Junior. That's the one thing. Like you said, it should be as much as a Kai. And like this person said, it just needs to be nerfed. But even if you could play around them, or even if we nerf the XP gain, it's still fucked that they're random. Like you can't play around that.
Right.
And even like it can spawn on their side. It can spawn on your side. It could spawn at any like second interval. Like it's so impossible to play around unless you're already in a position to play around it. Like you're gapping your opponent in levels, you have enough skills to like force them to get off the Cell Junior, or it spawns at your base, or it spawns right on you whenever everybody else is rotated. Like it's just like it's so RNG heavy, and that's why it's an issue. Because you can play around Kais, you can play around bosses, you can play around lane farming, you could even go steal your opponent's farm. All of these things are possible and do happen frequently. Obviously, the Kai thing is the crux of the entire like lanes phase in this game. EXL Juniors, if they could be played around, would be significantly better, even if they would still be broken. Like, my big issue with Cell Juniors that nobody's touching on, you can't play around them. There's nothing you can do about them. Like they just like it literally just coin flips your match, unless you're severely better than the opponent.
I've always had the idea if they don't decide to just remove it completely, because they already spent so much time on this stuff, even though they completely removed grade 8. If they don't decide to remove it completely, easy fix. Have it where again the XP is lowered, so it's just the amount as like a Kai or something like that. And then number 2, have it where there's like timers on the map that tell you when the EXL juniors are gonna drop, similar to like how bosses do. So instead of being like, oh, when is EXL junior gonna drop, because like there's the entire team fighting in the bottom for boss, but I have to stay top lane so I can secure EXL juniors in case they just so happen to spawn. And then you start migrating bottom lane, and then boom, 3 of them spawn top lane, and you're like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Like just having it where it's like, okay, there's a timer that says 15. I think that I'm just gonna stay here, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna go migrate bottom lane and go help them out with boss, and rather than like you have nothing to be able to play around. All you can do is just stay and hope, or go and pray that it doesn't drop.
Like, that's not skill based on a macro or micro level. And considering how much the game likes to focus on macros, I think they do need to do something like that, where it's like, okay, we just have one person on Cell Junior duty, or we have to decide who's Cell Junior here, who's Cell Junior there. Do we take out a less valuable member of our team, or do we put the DPS there because they can secure the Cell Junior more? Do we split it 2 ways and just have 2 people go for the Cell Junior? Do we have one person try and snipe it alone? Do we go team fight for the Cell Junior, even though it's going to split the XP 4 ways and not give us a lot? Like, there's a lot of things to do on a macro level if you can actually play around the Cell Junior.
Right. Cell Juniors suck. So
Cell Juniors fucking suck, bro.
yeah, as per always, that gets a thumbs up and like, comment, and subscribe.
Dude, everything is remove the EXL Juniors. I mean, they know.
Right. With the amount of Zenny this event gives us, they need to run it like every week with the amount of characters and upgrades that are in this game. Like, this is actual chump change. I upgraded 2 characters to level 5 and got several capsules. I'm sure this will be duplicates. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think they need to increase. I think they need to increase Zenny, and they also need to increase the amount of hero memories you get, because at a point it just becomes impossible to level your character, honestly.
Right. Like, again, this is the thing that people are constantly saying. Devs don't listen. They don't care about us. They are putting their fingers into their ears and they're going la 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 la. They don't care about our opinions and all that stuff. And it's so easy to just look at Zenny, dude. They are trying to fix Zenny in any way possible that is not just going to outright completely demolish the ecosystem of Zenny. They have updated it in terms of giving us more from, like, what was it, like 170 to 500 from getting the 10,000 battle score. Yeah, they've done it where the shop, the amount of Zenny that it went from the cost before to now how it is now is just revolutionary. The amount that they've just gave us from this event has been very, very helpful. You know, like they're trying to give us more and more ways of giving us Zenny, to the point of us giving an entire event just dedicated towards it, you know? So yeah, they're trying their best to help us out in ways like that. And it's going to take some time to adjust without, because I already know that what they don't want to do is have it where they like drop 10,000 Zenny like every single week, and then Zenny is completely pointless, and then it feels like there's no reward for actually building up these star levels. But they're slowly getting to the point where they want it to be. That's why they're slowly giving us more and more, and something that I feel like is just going to be adjusted even more by the time season 2 comes out, you know? That
100%.
You just gotta wait. Is just my thing. Remove
like either you gotta wait, or you gotta put in more targeted criticisms, like, i.e., propose a system that would solve the issue. Like, for example, if I were to say we need X amount of Zenny every match so that consistent players are rewarded with more Zenny, and they're not like time gated, then that would be a more specific, actionable, like, piece of criticism that they could listen to. Right now, that they're just kind of like, they hear like no Zenny, and they're trying. I'm not saying they're doing it the best. They're definitely not. Like, as a person who's played for a while, I literally go periods where I have no Zenny, and I need to wait for Zenny injections from like a battle pass, or from a social media reward, or from my group rewards, or from Mr. Satan's Zenny Jamboree. And it's like, okay, that's not really fun for me, considering I'm playing the game so much and I'm not getting XYZ amount of resources. But it's like, again, like you said, we need time, we need specifics, and we simply need to wait.
Right. That's how I always say, if you have something that you want changed, you kind of have to, one, you have to be nice about it. You can't be an asshole like some people have been and being like, devs don't listen, because they're not going to look at that. They're just going to be like, okay. You know, like they're not going to. Yeah, exactly. Okay, opinion skipped. And then the other thing is you have to talk about specifically what you want to see. Like, for example, a lot of people have been doing pretty well with talking about how they want Super Saiyan 3 Goku to be nerfed. They have been saying, like, you know, like the Kamehameha is doing too much damage. That's a very valid criticism and something that you, again, can put in the feedback and talk about. Just being something instead, being like, nerf Goku. What the fuck do you want them to change? Right. Nerf cooler. Okay. Congratulations.
Okay,
Coolers removed.
Dude. He's never going to be good ever again for the next 5 years. He's gonna be completely fucking unplayable.
Coolers nerfed, but specifically for you. You can't play him anymore. Like, you have to. You can't just. You have to be a little bit specific with it. Remove EXL Junior's Truth Nuke. On to the next one. Either give me an avoid feature or work on these report features. I'm tired of having the teammates that AFK if things don't go their way when we have a chance to come back. I would rather not ever have them on my team as a whole anymore. The thing I've always wondered as well too, if they have it where like a report goes through, they really should tell you that it went through, because as of right now, when you report someone and you don't get the feedback, like something like Marvel Rivals tells you, for example, where it's like that person got banned or this person got timed out because of your feedback, you're just gonna feel like it's kind of pointless. Like, I still report every single time, but I don't know if that person is still playing. I don't know if the person who had like an offensive name had it where they had to change their name, or they just got their entire account like deleted. There's no way for me to be able to tell that, because they don't give any sort of communication in that aspect. In the same way, I think, again, you know, having it where if that person does get reported, having that MMR like restored to you in a sense would also be kind of cool. But since no other game does that, I feel like that's always just like a thing that I talk about and will probably never be implemented. But
hopefully we can dream.
I could, because I shouldn't lose this fucking game when they are staying in base. That's not my fault. Listen, please. Here we go, baby. Before we even look at this is a really good like format to do, like what the things you want to see with these characters. Go ahead and talk about like the exact sort of changes you want to see. You know, like this is a really good way to format that.
100%.
Baby young body buffs and changes. Increase to HP by 5%. Passive, allow skill 2 and ultimate to trigger possession without killing the target. Skill 1 buffs, increase knockback by 5%. Reduce cooldown from 7 seconds to 6 seconds. Mac version increases damage by 15%. Skill 2 changes, cooldown goes from 18 seconds to 15 seconds. Each damage tick gives a percentage of chance of possession on an enemy hero. Prioritize from damage to tank to technical if multiple are targeted. 2% possession chance hits 5 times to up to 10%. 3% possession chance up to 7 times to 21%. And 2.5% hits 12 times to up to 30%. Buffs and changes to increase cooldown from 25 seconds to 20. Ultimate nerfs. Buffs changes, increase damage by 10% for 1 to 2 point versions, 50% chance to possess an enemy hero if multiple enemies are hit, prioritize from damage tank to technical, increase cooldown from 50 seconds to 60 seconds. It would be like if they have it where you can possess an enemy who isn't even dead, that would be kind of nice, though I don't know if it should be a percentage chance per se, because you're kind of throwing it up to a dice roll, and you could just get really unlucky.
Uh-huh.
But having it where you could possess like an enemy before you kill them and then are able to control them maybe just for like a couple seconds. Like I would rather have it where like maybe the skill 3 you can go into an enemy, and then like for level 1, 2, and 3 it could be like 2 seconds, 4 seconds, and 6 seconds, for example, rather than having it where it's like the level 2 is what causes it, where you can do a possession change. The thing I would say Baby needs the biggest buff, though, from my experience of using him, is just his movement, though. He feels so slow compared to some of these other heroes, and considering that his skills just make him slower, specifically his 2, I would rather just see him get a movement speed buff in general rather than like an HP buff or damage buff per se. But that's just me. I don't play tank as much as I used to. But like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this would be a very interesting change, because Baby is, I don't, just like the idea of buffing Baby, I don't want to turn him into a cauliflower or cooler where he just screws up team fights and like in a very, very linear, pragmatic way. Baby's design is unique such that he's not really like, I wouldn't call him the DPS of the lane, but he tanks and sustains for his allies in a very, very, very unique way. And I think leveraging that with like possessing an enemy to remove them from a fight, but also removing your body from the fight would be very interesting. Kind of hard to balance, because like imagine you're fighting like 2 Namek Gokus, for example, or 2 juiced up Kales. But like I do think it's a very interesting idea, and I think they do need to lean into interesting design with Baby. I think he, you know, let's say ideal world they buff Vegeta, Zamasu, Cell, and Baby to Cooler's level. I think Baby is always going to be the kooky one of the bunch. Because ultimately, Cell, Zamasu, Vegeta, Cooler, Caulifla, they have very different like designs, obviously. Zamasu's a regen tank, Vegeta's a regen tank, Zamasu's a regen tank that needs to farm. Cell is a character that needs to farm, but ultimately just becomes like a team fight tank afterwards. Like, obviously they're not identical, but they serve very similar purposes. Baby is the one who obviously like is just playing a completely different game than them. So I do like these buffs, like the idea of them. I think it's very, very creative. I think like
I would honestly
like
I
would just go on.
I'd like to see the ultimate maybe just have it, because like Cell, for example, right? He does the Cell games. He kind of locks one person out for not a team fight per se, because you know you can still have people like attack from the outside and all that, but having it where like it's a Cell games type situation where the ultimate has like a decent cooldown, like maybe 70 or 80 seconds, whatever Cells is, right? And then has it where it's a guaranteed body possession, where you just click on the enemy you want to possess, and then that again, it's the 2, 4, 6 seconds depending on the level of ultimate that you have. So it turns like a 4v4 situation to like a 4v3 situation, but only for like a certain amount of time, you know. I think that would be a pretty interesting idea. And again, just having it where rather than it just being a percentage chance, just have it where like the time that you possess for is increased with the level would be nice. But again, like how you said, it's a very interesting idea. I definitely would like to see something like that.
I think it's a good idea to buff the ultimate as well, because that's like the comparison to Cell is excellent, because like it sacrifices some of the offensive potential of like coolers in exchange for guaranteed removing an enemy for a fight, but only temporarily, and you have to like know how to use the enemy character. You need to be able to make a play with the enemy character, which just adds a new level of dimension and skill expression to the ultimate, even more so than Cells, even though it would serve a similar purpose.
Yeah,
and a unique character like Baby, like he has a unique kit design, but I wouldn't say he has like too much skill expression, because ultimately you just like possess when either one of you is low, and then you hold the rush attack button. But I think like accentuating Baby's design with like such a skillful ability, sort of, assuming it's not overtuned, obviously, because if it's on too low of a cooldown, then he's just removing you for the entire thing. But like, putting Baby in the situation where he needs to be in the driver's seat to make a difference in the team fight, that's good. Like I said, I think tanks need agency and they need team fight potential, because extreme amount, there's like, most of them lack that. Vegeta, when scaled, and Cell, when scaled, have it somewhat. Cooler and Khalifa have it. Baby and Zamasu don't really. Tanks, with the way they're designed in this game, they need agency.
Yeah. Please stop queuing me with people I have reported for abandoning the game. It's wild to see me. Yeah, we just need a system to just avoid his teammate. Also, I find it very strange that the majority of my games I get sent back to lobby, and then I'll have 8 Cell Junior games and no disconnect. So what are we talking about now? Yes, the load bearing EX Cell Juniors.
Dude, Cell Juniors got to have like a lobby behind them.
This is true. May the game for iOS users please be looked at. Every time I leave to get the first farm, it just crashes. It's demotivating and frustrating to have to play catch up. Yeah.
I think they should optimize it, but I also feel like that might be a hardware issue, honestly. Because
Who knows? Because there's a lot of people who have been saying it, so I feel like maybe it is something that should be looked at. Because this is like the 3rd or 4th iOS person that has said something.
Are you sure? Because I think it's the same guy.
Is it? Well, let's see.
I think it's the same guy.
Great teacher Lemon, and then let's go back to see what the other person was. No, you're right. It is the same person.
Because I did play with somebody who was very good on mobile. At least back during network test in season 0. Mm-hmm. They were on iOS. They had like phone overheating issues and stuff, but they never like crashed that often. Not more than anyone else on the team.
We'll have this one be the last one because this video is already an hour long, and this is another one that's like 60,000. Wait a minute. I've read this one before.
Oh. We don't have to comment on it if you've already read it.
Yeah, we could skip it only because I'm pretty sure this is just a copy and paste of what was there last week, but just here again. Yeah, because this was 4 days ago.
Why does the opening paragraph low-key read like ChatGPT?
Who knows? Okay, well, we can get your opinion on this because I'm a person who, I don't know. We'll see. Add mics into the game. Add friend option in the game. Remove or balance Cell Junior. Right now, its game making is unfair. Fix matchmaking. What is the point of rank system? Current matchmaking. If it matches, like one team has 1A ranked player, 3 C ranked players, and the other has 3 S ranks and 1A rank in solo queue. If they're playing a squad, it's not even make sense then. Also, it's not queued separately solo and quad. I also find one bug sometimes skill rush and rush attack not works. Like everything is fine. When you click skill or rush attack button on keyboard or mouse, it's not activated until you die. Or sometimes it's fixed with Gekishin burst or for skill, but if it happens with rush attack, you need to die or you can't use your rush attack. I'm playing on PC platform. I faced this issue like 5 or 6 times. I don't remember correctly, but it is happening. I think I've had that one time with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but I haven't had it consistently happen like that, where I just couldn't rush attack.
The game just has like a lot of miscellaneous bugs like that. You're not going to see very often, but it's like they're crippling when they happen. Like I remember when Cherry couldn't use Pansy Bomb. They changed their keybind mid match and they couldn't use Pansy Bomb, and that just like removes 60% of Daima Goku's kit.
Right. What are your thoughts and opinions on adding voice chat to the game?
I think it's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because okay, in a competitive game like this, just worth its salt, obviously you want mics and obviously you want text chat. But the problem is, this is like somewhere in between a totally casual game and a totally competitive game. Like, you know, there's comp here. It might not have the same skill ceiling as League, but there are like a lot of League and Unite like top level players or high level players that have become top level in this game. obviously it's a MOBA, it's a team-based MOBA, it's going to be competitive, but the audience, like they're putting it on mobile, it's a Dragon Ball game, they're putting like the gambling in it. So I
Mhm.
think it's like on paper, I really want it because okay, I want to solo queue with my teammates and actually be able to like just tell them to rotate. But also, I feel like people are just gonna end up cussing out a 14-year-old just playing Goku because they like Goku, and you know they might not necessarily have the fundamentals of the game fully down.
Right.
And obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want them to censor it like Roblox level because like you wouldn't even be able to talk normally at that point. But it's just like you know, I think it could. I think it could probably work because there's voice chat and things like Xenoverse.
Mhm. I think it's, I don't know, like you're in, especially a MOBA type game, you're asking for a lot of issues to happen. But
Yeah,
I can understand if it's a necessary evil per se, because chatting to do whatever you need is just going to be a lot more efficient if you have that voice communication. But that's why we have these voice channels in this Discord, of course,
yeah. I
to
was
help
gonna
with that.
say like
But
the game clearly designed. This game's clearly designed around finding these external channels and then just doing whatever you want in the confines of those.
right, it's I don't know. I don't know if I personally want it. I think at the moment I don't personally, I guess, care as much, just because again, I've been queuing up with a lot more teams recently than solo queuing. But when I did solo queue, I kind of did want to be able to just communicate and be like, "What the fuck, guys? We're supposed to be going for bosses. Why is no one rotating down with me?" But I don't know. I don't mind either way. If they add it, sure. If they don't add it, it's not going to be the end of the world for me. That's just kind of how I see it. It either exists or it doesn't. And until that point,
Yeah.
we'll discuss it when it happens. But it is definitely an evil per se. We'll read this last one just because this one's a pretty small one. Deborah buff idea. Since Topo can stack Marks of Destruction on bosses and then use his ultimate to delete them, Deborah should be able to petrify bosses, then use his skill 1 or ultimate to nuke them, but he should petrify bosses at a slightly lower rate than he does on enemy heroes, so he can have some boss killing type power like the rest of the damage types, but not just take them in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. In fact, whenever I was playing Deborah, I'm playing against Deborah, I found it pretty unusual that he couldn't just petrify bosses. Like they said, I think it'd be pretty balanced considering like there's always a mind game, like where it's okay. Like let's say my team is zoning off the boss, or we just got picks. Even though there's like one other person lurking around, do we rip the boss or do we continue fighting? And I think Dabra needs to be able to play that mind game instead of being almost completely worthless in boss fights outside of the direct team fight.
That's, yeah, because like if you look at every other DPS, they all have something to help burst bosses, and Deborah does feel like kind of the weakest one per se, because like everyone has something. Fucking Bojack has his ult. Like
Yeah.
everyone can melt bosses in some way except for Deborah. So I like that. Like that one gets a super like from me. That one gets
This is true.
the mic like of approval.
Bars.
Well, go ahead and stop there though, because yeah, this is an hour and 13 seconds, man, or 13 minutes. A lot of editing that I'm gonna have to do, but either way though, thank you for joining me, of course. And again, make sure that you guys all visit Zamasu's Twitter and YouTube, because they are a very goated Zamasu player, and I'm sure the clips that they'll be posting very soon are going to be very awesome. Until then, you could always watch some of the videos that I believe should be on your channel regardless, because you've already done a lot of collaborations too, and from what I remember,
Yeah.
it does put them on your channel still, so you can even watch content with them on that too, you know. But thank you for joining. And
Yeah, thank you for having me.
of course. And I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.